My name is Dana Burkey and welcome to my YouTube channel. In case you're new here, I'm a young adult fiction author, and first and foremost, my face is super red. I'm filming this video in the evening and I actually have a thing called rosacea. It's where my face turns very red and actually gets really warm, especially in the evenings. So I just wanted to address that because I feel like it looks like I piled on a ton of blush. That is not the case. It usually, when my face is extremely pink, it usually just means I'm filming at night. So anyway, okay, now that that is over, that little disclaimer, in today's video, I just wanted to talk about Christmas. Now, I know that's a little weird, especially if you follow me on other social media. You know that I am a Christmas can wait its turn kind of a person. What that means is that when Halloween is over, we still have Thanksgiving. Christmas is not after Halloween, it is after Thanksgiving. I will not put up any decorations in my house until after Thanksgiving. That's how it should be, mostly because then it allows Halloween to spill into a few extra days. And that's my real goal. But I wanted to talk about Christmas because I have seen a lot of different people posting and asking questions about Christmas gifts for the cheerleader in their life. And this is usually the time of year where I actually sell a lot of books because of my cheer series. I know in the start of every single one of my videos, I talk about being a young adult fiction author. Sometimes that's confusing. No, I am not a young adult. I am a 35-year-old adult. Still feels weird to say, whatever. But I write young adult fiction, which means fiction for young adults, usually high school age, sometimes a little bit younger. Well, one of the books or series that I happen to write is the TNT Force Cheer series. Book 1 is called Learning to Fly. Now, this time of year, a lot of people are looking for something to get the cheerleader in their life, like I said, and I will post and mention my books, and there's a lot of questions, and understandably so. And every year I answer them, and I have no problem doing that, but I figured this year I would actually make a video so all of the answers were all in one place, because I realized that there's some information that I maybe haven't put out there as well, and I wanted to make sure that you guys had it all. So if you are interested in getting the cheerleader in your life a book this Christmas, why not a book about cheer? I've actually had some parents who reach out to me and they're like, my kid never once would read. Like we could not get them to read anything, and then we found your books and now they're actually willing to read because it's about their sport. This series is the only young adult fiction series about all-star cheerleading. There are middle grade, there's a middle grade series or kind of an elementary. It's called Cheer Chick Charlie. It is about all-star cheer. There are some nonfiction books about cheerleading, all-star cheerleading, I should say. And then there are fiction books that are about cheerleading, but not specifically all-star. So that's one of the really unique things about my books. So today I just wanted to talk a little bit about the series, kind of what led up to me writing them and information about them, and then also answering some questions that you guys sent in. So first and foremost, you're probably wondering why I wrote this series, and even more, a little bit about me and my background with cheer. I actually grew up watching ESPN, watching cheer and dance and gymnastics and figure skating competitions on TV when I was younger, and I just fell in love with the sport of all-star cheer. I loved the stunting, I loved the tumbling, I just thought it was the coolest stuff ever, mostly because I could not do those things, and so I just thought it was really amazing. Fast forward a ton of years, I work with kids full-time at a camp, and some of the kids were talking about cheer. We had the local cheer gym come out and actually perform for us. And right around that same time, possibly from listening in on my phone, YouTube suggested that I should watch Cheerleaders, and I dove back into the world of all-star cheer, especially via social media. Well, during that same time, as I kind of got back into cheer, started following teams, watching competitions, attending a couple local comps, I also had started self-publishing. I started self-publishing in August of 2014, writing young adult fiction. A lot of times young adult fiction, just romance, cute stories. I wanted age-appropriate young adult fiction, and I wanted to create stories in a way that were maybe different than what was already out there, just kind of uniquely storytelling. Well, NCA rolled around, I think it was 2015 it would have been, and that was the year where Cougars had their music cut, and they still performed a perfect routine, and they won NCA. It was this huge moment, but when I posted it to Facebook, nobody cared. Literally nobody cared. I went onto Twitter, that was all anyone was talking about, but on Facebook, not a single person cared. And I realized that I was in a unique position to help kind of bridge the gap. As someone who loved cheer and knew a lot about cheer and had a love for the sport, I was going to be able to bring awareness to other people via my books. And so It was not something I ever thought that I would do or planned to do ever, ever, ever. But I actually sat down within a week or two after NCA and started just outlining, jotting down ideas. And within a week, I had 10 books outlined. And those have definitely changed, but not that much. My ideas for books like 1, 2, 3, 4 have stayed completely as they were. And so, yeah, I knew what I wanted to do, and it was like the inspiration struck in such a huge way that I knew it was definitely meant to be. I started writing, and book 1 came out in July of 2016. I think it was 2015. Let's glance in the front and see what it says, because that's, guys, my brain. 2016, yes, 2016. So that means it would have been NCA 2016 when that happened. But so anyway, I published book 1, and shortly thereafter published book 2, and then book 3, and then book 4, and started vlogging as a way to just be at cheer, and then also so I could meet people who would maybe be potential readers. I had no idea my channel would take off because of my reactions. I honestly thought that I would be doing like author vlogs and my focus would be on my books. That's a whole other topic, a whole other thing, but basically I knew that I wanted to write a book about cheer, and here it is, Learning to Fly, book 1 of the TNT Force Cheer series. Now, to give you guys a little more information about the series in general, there are 7 books currently with a plan for an 8th. I don't have a timeline for that. I do have a rough outline of that book, and the series will not end at 8. There will more than likely be some more. But yeah, I really had a vision, and I knew exactly what was going to happen, and that's never happened with a series before for me. Since then I've had like 1 or 2 books ideas where I'm like, oh yeah, this would be the natural progression, but to have as many books immediately like this is what I need to write, I knew it was meant to be. So yeah, the whole series, there's 7 books in total right now, but to talk about just book 1, I know I have a lot of questions about it, and I figured one of the really good ways that I could give you guys information is actually reading what's written on the back cover of the book. So I will post it right here so you guys can read along with me, but basically it says, Max Turner is a tomboy through and through. Her favorite activities include hunting, fishing, playing sports, and running around with her neighbors Peter and Kyle. But when Max meets some girls at a local trampoline park, she gets introduced to a whole new world. With her dad's encouragement, Max finds herself in a place she never imagined she would be, an all-star cheerleading gym. TNT Force is one of the best cheerleading gyms in North Texas, and between the glitter, massive hair bows, and over-the-top dance moves, Max is sure she has no place in the gym. But as she soon learns, she has skills that even top cheerleaders work years to develop. Will Max tough it out and give cheerleading a chance, or will she ignore her natural talent to stay in her comfort zone? So that's book 1. It's a little bit of a spoiler that obviously there's more books in the series, so one can assume that like Max likes it. But yeah, the whole entire series comes from a tomboy who does not like cheer's perspective. She's raised by her father. Her mother had passed away when she was younger. And so she is someone that does not understand cheer. And I really, really wanted to come at this series from that direction, because that way, if someone who doesn't cheer gets the book, they know everything as Max does. They don't have to read a book and say, what are you talking about? They did a round off back handspring, or they threw a double full, or they did an arabesque, like they don't have to ask questions about what that is, because as Max learns it, she teaches the audience. So book 1, though, Max is actually 12 years old, and I get a lot of questions about what reading age it is, or like what grade level it is. And I always tell people, like, Max is 12 in book 1, going on 13. However, this book is all age appropriate. There is no bad language. There's no like bad decision making. It really does focus on all-star cheer, and each book does have a side message or story or lesson going along with it. But especially in book 1, it's just kind of like this like coming of age, going outside of your box moment and life point for Max, where she really has to stretch herself. And I always tell people too, like, yeah, she's 12 in it, but I've had like parents read it and they're like, oh my gosh, I really enjoyed this. I liked the storyline. I've also had parents tell me like, yeah, my daughter's 5, but we helped her read it, or like we read it to her. So there really isn't a specific age limit, although it's definitely more middle grade to young adult fiction. So like middle school, high school is more of the target audience. But as an adult who loves young adult fiction, I will say that it is a genre that definitely crosses the ages, especially when you are older. You can look back and remember those times when you were younger, reminisce, all that fun stuff. So yeah, reading age kind of middle school to high school. Good for everyone though, definitely age appropriate for everyone. And I really enjoyed it too, because as you're reading the books, you can grow up with Max. We're in book 7 right now, and I think Max is 16, if I'm remembering off the top of my head. I don't have any of my notes in front of me. They're all like in a vault kind of space in my house. So yeah, real quick though, I do want to talk about some of the questions because they tie in with what I wanted to tell you next. So someone asked if I was writing any more books, and the answer is yes. I plan to write book 8. I just don't have a timeline for it. Book 7 came out towards kind of like the start of quarantine. It was just a really good timing for me to like finish it because I'd been working on it. And then I have since started working on a couple other projects and will go back to the cheer series for sure. And then somebody asked if I'm making any other cheer series or if I'm going to make another cheer series. And I have actually considered writing some shorter stories from different perspective of some of the characters in the series. I don't know if that's something that I will necessarily do, but it's definitely something that I've considered. And when it naturally reaches a point where it feels like Max's story is done, I am not opposed to starting someone else's story, but it's not something that I have planned specifically yet. The final question though that I got that was honestly like the most important is, where can the books be purchased? And I realized that I always tell you guys where you can purchase them, but I didn't tell you where you can read it. And that doesn't mean you can read the whole book for free, but if you go onto my Wattpad, which I will link below, I have the first 5 chapters loaded up. So if you're like thinking about this, you're watching this video, you're going, I guess that's a good idea, but I don't know if my kid will like it. Show them the first 5 chapters. Tell them you came upon this random website. Let them read 5 chapters. And then don't let them know about the rest if they like it so you can surprise them. But yeah, the first 5 chapters are online. I actually used to print out the 5 chapter like preview to hand out for free at competitions. I don't know if that's something I should like go back to doing, but it was like my first year of vlogging. Every single weekend I gave away free books. But yeah, I am very open with letting people check out those first 5 chapters to get to know Max and like the start of her story and the other characters in the book. So that's online for free on Wattpad. As far as buying the actual book, you can get the paperback book on Amazon through Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing like platform. So if you just go to Amazon, you type in Learning to Fly, you type in Dana Berkey, TNT Force Cheer, it'll come up. And then you can actually also purchase it at Barnes & Noble. So if you go to Barnes & Noble, more than likely, unless for some reason your state has had a lot of people requesting my book, they're not going to have it in stock, but you will be able to order it through them. So if you're someone like me who gets like gift cards for Barnes & Noble occasionally, that's a great way to use it. They're more than likely just not going to have them in stock. Sometimes too, you can get them through your library system, or you can actually request it at your library. My book is available for expanded distribution, so that means that a school library or a public library can get them. And if they usually get enough requests, then that's when a library will purchase them, so they're able to offer it to readers. The cool thing though about my book is, well, cool, okay, so they're on paperback. I, for one, don't really read a lot of paperback, but they're also on digital, which I love. I am just huge on digital reading. I own hundreds of books all on my Kindle, and it is my favorite thing. I love that I can just take one little thing with me on vacation and read as many books as I want. But the other really exciting thing is that books 1 through 4 are actually also available on audiobook. I have worked with the most amazing audio producer to bring Max and her entire story to life, and it is a really fun way to pass time when you're traveling to competitions. Also, and I don't know that anyone's specifically done this, but I know it's something that I've always thought about, it might be a really cool way to help kids who are working on learning to read, because they could read and listen along at the same time. So that's always an option. But basically for the audio, you can go to audible.com, or when you're on Amazon, you can click the audio option and pick it up from there. If you sign up for Audible, I'll actually link it below. If you use my link, then you get like free Audible. I think it's like a month or 2, a certain number of credits, and then you can use those to get the different books in the cheer series. There are only 4 right now, and I definitely plan on making a 5th one and doing books like 5, 6, 7 on audio and then on from there. But right now, the audio productions through Amazon are really delayed. Just everyone is producing books during COVID, and so delay times are insane. Another project I have has been super delayed because of that. So yeah, you guys are able to pick up my book 3 that was 4, 3 different ways, and you're able to listen or read rather the first 5 chapters for free. So hopefully that will give you guys a chance to check out the book, decide if it's something that you're interested in, and then kind of go from there. Now, like I said, each of these books has a different topic, a different idea. There are a lot of different things that are touched on as the series goes on. Max is obviously, you know, she's 12 in book 1, about to turn 13, and she begins to grow up, and so there's a lot of different things that she faces. And some of the topics, I wouldn't say that they're age inappropriate, but if I would say like just maybe like read the back, or if you ever have any question and you're like, hey, like my kid is 7 and is reading the series, or my kid's 10 is reading the series, and I noticed in book 3 you mentioned this, just ask. Like, feel free to message me any time. The final thing, speaking of messaging me, I actually did a book signing. It was 2 years ago now, and I have a ton of copies of Learning to Fly because of that. Most of them I like sold at the book signing, or then at a couple events I did after that. But I do have a couple extra on stock on hand. So if you are at all interested in ordering those, it is $12.99 to purchase the paperback through Amazon. If you have Prime, you can get free shipping. But if you're interested in getting it direct from me, it would be $15. I would send it straight to you. That does cover shipping, and I would autograph the book for you and personalize it for your child. So if that's something that you're interested in, message me on either Instagram or on Twitter, and we can get that rolling. I do have like a really limited number, but I like to message it or mention it, especially during the holidays, because I know people are maybe looking for that option. It is just book 1. But then the other option is if your kids are going to be attending some of the comps that I am, like, feel free to bring the books. I've had people walk up and ask me to sign them, and I always love to do it. So yeah, sorry, this video feels like it's a little rambly, but hopefully it gives you guys a lot of good information about the series, about the book, and answers any questions you might have. If you still have questions though, please comment in the comment section. I have a feeling that any question that comes up is going to be something that not just one parent has, but multiple parent has, or even if you're an athlete that's watching this, if you're a teen that's watching this, you might have some questions about it. One thing I do want to mention too, because I know like finances are hard, and I really understand that, and with my books, as much as like, oh cool, I sold a book, whatever, I want to just inspire kids to keep reading. And so I actually do free Kindle days as often as I can with the Kindle Direct Publishing platform. You can do it every 90 days. Every 90 days, you can do 5 free Kindle days. And so I usually announce on social media when my books are free. I encourage you guys to pick them up, because as much as I want you guys to read, I would love for you guys to be able to, with nothing stopping you, in case you're in a place where you're like, I just can't afford to buy a book right now. I love to do anything I can to get those to you free, at least in digital form. Other platforms, it's a little bit harder. But yeah, so comment below if you do have those questions though. Let me know if you have any like random questions with it, and then feel free to reach out to me through other social media if you have additional questions. But I hope this video has been helpful. I hope you guys have learned a little bit about my TNT Force Cheer series. I will link below the full series, the audiobooks, everything that I possibly can, the Wattpad page where you can check out chapters 1 through 5. And then yeah, if you guys have questions about it, the fun thing too is a lot of the bows on the front covers, not this one unfortunately, but some of them are actually for sale through the bow vendors. So if that's something that you're interested in getting, I know like the bow that's on the cover of book like 6 and I think 5 and maybe even 4, those are all bows that are for sale through different bow companies. So it might be a really great like combo gift if you're looking for that kind of thing for the cheerleader in your life. But all in all, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if you have questions, comment below. And then if you're not subscribed to my channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you find out when other videos are posted. I don't know if I'll do any more follow-up videos, but if I get a lot of questions, I definitely will consider it. So feel free to ask away. All in all though, I hope you guys are staying safe, that you're doing well, and stuck in quarantine myself because Washington State just went into a secondary lockdown. I know I'm doing a lot of writing and also a lot of reading. So if you're like me and you need a new good book, consider picking up Learning to Fly or the other books in the TNT Force Cheer series, whether it's for yourself or, you know, as a Christmas present, a holiday present coming up. Anyway, thank you guys all so much for watching, and I will see you all soon.